Hello everybody, welcome to a fun little Let's Build over Spin Dragoon, you know, the first Beyblade. Yeah, that's kind of the best way to describe it. This is the first, Beyblade that came out. Now this is a not a reproduction, like a re-release of the first Beyblade. This is like re-release of Spin Dragoon, which is why it's in this nice little blue box here. I think this came out from one of the anime DVD releases. I kind of forget, to be honest. But yeah, so this is a re-release of the original Dragoon Beyblade that was used in the wonderful, wonderful Beyblade series. I forget if this one was actually used in the anime. I don't think it was. It was originally used in the manga, so if you actually grab your famous Beyblade manga here and ignore the front cover and just start getting a little bit deep into it, you can actually see the original Beyblade right there. It was one introduced with the manga. It was actually introduced in the original Game Boy game. There's a whole video by Nezuma on the Game Boy game. It was a Game Boy Color game meant to catch in on that whole Pokemon craze at the time of catching all your special monsters and stuff like that. But it is very cool to actually look back at the history of Beyblade and see the difference there. The main difference being is that the Game Boy game used this version of Dragoon, which was a giant red monster. We'll look into it once we actually start opening up the box. Compared to the later, Blue Dragon that you'd see in the series. Let's see if I can find a good image of the Blue Dragon. Well, I can find sort of an image of the dragon that you'd sort of come to know. You got this version of Dragoon, pretty much, of the longer dragon. The sort of Rayquaza looking dragon instead of this more, I guess, Greymon looking dragon thing. Overall, still pretty cool, pretty exciting, though. So you got the Game Boy design for Tyson right there, which, as if anyone's curious, pretty much is more like a copy of Red in the original sort of sense. That's why he's had the whole red get up and everything. Very interesting sort of. Yeah, if you actually look at Tyson's design, you can see where they kind of took a lot of that Pokemon inspiration from. Just kind of interesting to think about that. But we have the wonderful guy right here, looking all snazzy. Nothing too crazy, as you see. Very basic. There's not even a little core difference in there. This was before you can actually mess around with the cores in the Beyblades. So very interesting. And we also have the bit chip protector. So originally when Beyblade first came out, this little clear chip at the top here, if it flew off during battle, that was actually a point to your opponent. It's like the burst concept before bursting was the thing. So kind of cool to see that. And you know what? Let's start getting opening this, because nothing much crazy about this. There is no ripcord launcher in there, so we'll actually have to grab that at some point in the middle of the video process. But to be honest, I'll probably grab out my Stadium or whatever as well, and watch it spin around and have a bit of that fun, But first, let's cut into this. There we go. And we're going to see if I can... Woo! There we go. Got the nice little box opening there. Gonna pull out everything. Ooh, it's a nice pearl white. I don't know if I'll be applying stickers on this, because these are 20-year-old stickers, so who knows how well these will actually kind of work. So, I'm probably not going to apply stickers on this, also because I want that original Dragoon sort of look to it, instead of our fiery red metal Greymon looking Dragoon. Sorry, y'all, but I'd like to keep to the original. But we will take a nice good look at that Dragoon, though. First, we're going to peel off the sticker here. And we're going to open this up. Look at all the pieces and everything. So here we go. We're going to move that to the side. So we got the, the Avex Mode sticker. This is the company, I think, that was releasing the anime on DVD at the time. I kind of forget what Avex Mode was. I think they were the one releasing the DVD at the time. But they include some nice blue stickers on there, so I guess to match with the... Trying to figure out what style they would use of stickers on this originally. I don't know. I have to look and see what type of stickers they would have used. I'm assuming these are more the original style here. So you got the original Dragoon styling right there. Let's see if I can actually get into focus nicely. So yeah, it's a nice holographic sticker. I see it says Takara and Hudson there, because that is originally a Hudson design. If you're curious, Hudson actually did a lot of work for Takara back in the earlier days. They were also the main reason why Beat 'em On was created. So for example, they made Bomberman, and then Takara wanted to do a sort of toy line for Bomberman, and they came up with Beat 'em On, which was a nice way of doing the bombs. And of course, at some point, when they were doing the whole Pokemon craze went crazy, they teamed up again to work on this project here, which would become Beyblade. So you can get to see those nice, very much Hudson sort of esque designs compared to Takara designs, really. And of course, you got the nice little stickers there, all holographic, nice looking. Not gonna use these. I'll probably scan them in though at some point once I get a scanner. Cool seeing both of those little stickers though. Very nice though. Put those to the side for right now. And of course, we got the bit chip protector, which is a very nice clear plastic. Nothing too crazy, you know. Just use it for your Beyblade fights. And, ooh, here we go. We got the Beyblade itself. Very much a nice pearlish white color. It might come off as a bit gray on camera, but it is still very nice looking. And we do have our instructions here, which we'll open up and see what all the hype is about. So there we go. It's going to tell us, like, having the sort of, I guess, fighting styles there or something like that. I don't know what's going on there. And pretty much showing that we will need a screwdriver to get it all set up and ready. And yeah, nothing too crazy really going on here. Pretty much just normal Beyblade assembly. The only thing I'm kind of curious about is the bit chip, which I think you just kind of like push over. Yeah, we just kind of push it over. So yeah, guess let's start building the Beyblade. Which I'll probably do a jump cut here, because just like pop out all the pieces and everything. But we will take a look at the metal ring and stuff before we get to doing all that fun. I'll show off like the little like trims and everything, because why not, you know? So here we go. Here's all of our sort of interesting parts. So we got the little bottom lip here. Very simple like Beyblade design. It's kind of funny looking at something like this compared to some of the later designs you'd see, where like the bottom would get more and more complex and stuff. Like this is before like different tip types really. Which is kind of crazy to think about that. We also have our metal ring here, which our attack ring. Let's see if we can pop that out. Can we get it out? Woo! See if we can pop it out real quickly. Let's see. Do it like that. There you go. Nice little metal ring, nothing too crazy really. This was the weight disc, it just kind of weighs down your Beyblade a bit more. Just nice little simple metal. I have seen nowadays these are kind of breaking in battles. I guess kind of being careful with that, but overall this would be more like a display piece for me probably than a sort of battler. But, and of course we got all the little fun little bits and pieces here. The attack ring, the core that you do actually have to assemble yourself. That's why this little long screw is in there. And then we got two little bit chips, which is kind of nice. So I guess you can have both the little sticker concepts on there. But we're not going to do that for right now. Well, we're not going to sticker it up pretty much. But yeah, super excited about this. So first, we're going to do a little bit of a dramatic jump cut so that I could get all these pieces cut out and everything. And then we'll assemble it on camera for y'all. So I'll be back in just a wonderful little second. And we are back. So I wanted to talk about something before we kind of get really far into building this. I want to talk about cores real quickly. So usually when you're building plastic generation Beyblades, a lot of the ones after the sort of first era would have something called a core. In the original, see if I can get this to be undone real quickly. In the original sort of plastic gen era, the cores were kind of very much a lot more simplistic in a sense. You take apart your Beyblade, you have like the clips on the side here, and then the core would just kind of pop on out, and this would be your core. And when Beyblade first started, the core was actually kind of screwed into the base. So instead of this more dynamic core system that you can sort of pop in, swap around and everything, you originally started off with just sort of a screw down core like this one here. So of course, all simple like reconstruction there, and we'll put this to the side for right now. But cores came in sort of many different styles in the original plastic generation. For example, you got the engine gear ones here that allow for, you see, a bunch of really cool like little gimmicks and stuff like that. But when Beyblade first started, cores were very simple. You'd pretty much just screw it all together. So pretty much, let's start building the core of this Beyblade. For the beginning, the original starter of the series, I guess you can say. So to pretty much just start off the building process, you take this top layer here, and then you have to sandwich it on to this piece here. So I'm gonna pop that right there, and that right there. You take this base piece here, and you pretty much get to slide it on in, pretty much. Figure out whichever way we're gonna slide it down on. Oh, is that? Oh, yep, there we go. So there's our little sort of core there. Pretty simple, nothing too crazy. And you take the screw here, and you gotta get a screwdriver, which we'll grab in just a quick old second, because my screwdriver kit's right behind me. Take our screwdriver. I'm gonna assume it's this bit here, because usually it is. Place that to the side. So we got our little screwdriver here, and our awesome little bit. And we're gonna plop all this fun in there. So you got a nice little long screw and everything. And yeah, we're just gonna screw it on down. Kind of a little bit wiggling and wobbling there, but oh well. We can get this sort of done in that sense. Let's see. Gotta just screw it on in. After this, you really don't have to mess with this thing pretty much, because the core and the base kind of just go together and never kind of come apart really in that sense. I'm trying to be gentle though, because I really don't want to break this in any sense. Ooh, this is fun to do. Oh man. Maybe I need to get a bigger bit. Where'd I put the thing down at? I'm gonna upgrade a bit to a bigger one! And the bigger one makes this way easier. Yeah, make sure you size up your bits correctly. Though, to be honest, once you start noticing that it's not staying in nicely, I recommend swapping it out. Don't try forcing stuff to get screwed down and stuff like that. But there you go. There's our nice little bottom piece there. There's our baseline in that sense. Little bottom of the Beyblade. Now next part of the step here is the metal part. So you just want to lay down the metal. So pretty much you're just taking this and just layering it down in there. Have the nice, I think you're supposed to have the indentation on that way. Maybe I'm trying to remember if I'm doing this correctly or not. Am I doing it correctly? I might be doing it wrong. I am doing it wrong. Ha! Trying to remember how these things always come together is the fun part. Seeing, is it this? You can tell I don't take them apart that often. I'm like, slide that in. Let's see. Oh. Man, is it really going to make me whip out the instructions? Actually, I should go look at the other guy here. Whee! Oh. Taking out the instructions because your boy forgot which orientation of weight disc is supposed to go in. And I was correct the first time. It's supposed to go in like this. Yep, indentation down. There we go. You tell I have not built a plastic gen in a while. Whee! And yeah, just plop in this. And try to see if I can get it to. There we go. Try to push it in. And then you just twist. And there we go. So there's our sort of Beyblade assembled right there. Nice and easy. All nice. Very thin. Kind of surprised by that. And of course the next step is you gotta put the bit chip in there. So we take our little bit chip. And you just sort of like push it in there. This is actually meant to be loose. It's because that's the whole kind of gimmick there. This piece is actually loose. And you take this here, the clear shield piece. And you just kind of push it down, I think. Is it the other way around? Yeah, it is. Yep, there we go. So there you go, your bit chip's all protected. And of course it just pops out very easily. I just recommend being sort of gentle with it. That's all you kind of have to do with it. And there we go. We're going to give a nice little spin in just a second. I'm going to insert this side in first. And I assume I can just... Oh, there we go. Yeah, there you go. Very nice and clean. Actually love the pearl white aesthetic on this guy too. Now I just need to get some reproduction stickers and we'll be ready to go. I know people are going to probably be like, oh, you should have used the original stickers. Now, those original stickers are going to fall off. Not to give any hassle to Takara Tomy, but ooh, they used some cheap stickers. Like the second you probably pulled off them sheets, they're probably already falling off. I really don't want to go reapply glue or whatever. I'd rather just scan them in and make my own sheets, or make my own stickers. And there we go, we're going to pop it into the original plastic gen launcher. Now, y'all probably looking at this and being like, oh, that's a crazy launcher. The original launcher is just this little white piece here. Yeah, it's not a big piece. I just have a grip on it because, I don't know, this is pretty much how I've been using it for like years now. Love this thing, seriously. If you're a fan of Plastic Generation, I recommend one of these grips. Now you could get like a fancier launcher, but to be honest, I kind of just prefer swapping this piece out here because this allows me to swap between left and right launchers. I need to check out Jawa's Junkyard because I heard that they're making like metal versions of these things. I'm so tempted to go pick one of those up. But yeah, overall pretty nice, pretty simple, nice little thing there. And of course, you want to take your ripcord. We got an extra longer one. We got that Dragoon ripcord. And this is using a right spin ripcord. A right spin launcher, I should say, not right spin ripcord. This is a right spin launcher. This is all how pretty much everyone Beyblade first came out. All of them were right spin. That kind of happens still in this modern generation, funnily enough. I think the only time we really got left spin really early on was I think Metal Fight and Burst. I might be wrong about that, but to be honest, I'm not that well versed in later generations, to be honest. I'm very much a plastic fan. And we're going to give it a nice little... Woo! And there we go. Nice little spin. It's so thin. That's what's going to surprise me the most about this. Because, like, if you compare it to, like, any of the later ones... Let's reassemble this guy real quickly. Come on. Where is the little pop-in point? This direction? Yeah, it is. But yeah, if you compare it to like some of the later generation, like the later plastic era, yeah, they get tall. Well, to be honest, Plastic Generation in general is kind of like thinner compared to some of the later generations, but man, it's so crazy how short this guy is compared to the rest of them. That kind of makes me just like love him even more. Like, that's crazy. This is the fun of having a dog. This hair gets everywhere. But man, look at that. Crazy. And there you go. That's pretty much it for this little first little generation of Beyblade. We'll do some test spins in a second and do some awesome little battles to mess around with it. But yeah, it's pretty much the building process of this. So we're gonna do a little bit of a cutaway to the battle area, and yeah, we'll see y'all then, and do some awesome battles! And I don't know what I'm going to do with sticker-wise for this thing. I'm probably going to make it look more anime and manga accurate, to be honest, because that's just me. I prefer that. But yeah, I'm super excited about this. I'm going to mess around with this guy. And thank y'all for watching, and that's pretty much it. Bye-bye-bye! Whee! I'm going to go have fun now with this cool dude. It's so loose a bit. I want to get more of these, like, clear window ones. I wonder how hard that'd be. I don't know. I guess I'll find out at some point. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching. Bye! Well, it's going to cut to some battle footage. But yeah, you get the idea. Bye for the main part of the video. Hello, everybody. So, we're doing the quick little battles here. So, I decided to pick up our Hayate. This is a nice little simple Beyblade that comes with a little mech air guy. Using him because he's very lightweight, so it actually would go very well against our wonderful Dragoon S right here. And if anyone's curious, we do have a cat on the other side of me, so you might see him going back and around. So sorry about that. And of course, in terms of base launchers, we're choosing a very basic right spin plastic gen launcher, and a nice Dragoon ripcord. And I also have another one, but in a grip with a little spring support, and of course like the metal gripping. So we got 2 of them set up pretty much. So let's get these all readied up. So let's get this one set up. Slap that one on. And of course we're going to start up with Dragoon here. And pretty much going to give him a nice little spin. And of course for Hayate, we're going to also give him a nice little spin. And now we have the battles going. And there we go. Hayate takes the first win. Grab these 2. Bit of a weird recording setup, so sorry about that, y'all. And of course, sliding in all ripcord parts again. But Hayate takes the first win. I'm gonna give Hayate this one here. Oh. It actually clicks in first. Okay, there we go. There we go. And there we go. Bit of a weird setup for me, so sorry about that, y'all. But there we go. Dragoon took the second one immediately. So, of course, this is now the final round of these guys. Probably should have maybe swapped out the top ring, or top attack ring with something else. But for right now, it'll be fine. For just sort of this demonstration purpose of this end of the video thing that's going on right now. So let's get these guys all set up. Also doesn't help that this is not a good way to like record with my arms, because I have to kind of position myself in a very weird way. Whoop. And of course, try that again. There we go. And Dragoon took the final win, but we'll give it one more nice final shot here. We'll give Hayate a nice proper spin. This one is very lightweight. I mainly picked this one because this one's also very lightweight, because I don't really have that many first generation Beyblades that aren't like super heavy. So we'll go with the next one. Well, I shouldn't say super heavy, I should more say like base weight. These earlier ones kind of have that issue sometimes. And of course, now get the nice final round going on there. And there we go. Kind of a... I don't know who will really win that one. But yeah, kind of a nice fun battle there. And that was the sort of let's build and battling stages of this guy right here. Overall, very fun, very cool history for Beyblade. And, I don't know, very interesting to finally have this one in part of the set. I will say, with battles, these the little end bits here can get damaged pretty easily. I've seen the little, at least this one right here got damaged when I was trying to battle against some heavier ones earlier. This one really does not stand a chance against a lot of the more heavyweight guys of the sort of, when the spin gear system was kind of introduced in there. So, kind of watch out for that. Remember, these are kind of just held in with like plastic and a screw compared to like the later like weighted cores and stuff like that, or the magnet core and like even the engine gears. So just kind of remember that. That's the reason why I picked Hayate in this fight, because Hayate really doesn't have really weight to him. But yeah, hopefully y'all enjoyed this video, and I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye-bye! Whoa!